Well, the last episode we talked about all the things that nobody tells you. And
Hmm.
you know what we left out?
What do we leave out?
Food and eating. Because
Yes.
let me tell you, sometimes the hardest part of our day is figuring out how and what we're going to eat.
Yes,
Because you still got
absolutely.
to eat.
Yeah,
And we have two little children who have to eat probably more than you and I do.
it's a non-negotiable. Everybody has to eat.
Everybody's got to eat. So, how do we do it? Well, the first thing is we have very intentional food values.
We do.
If you are new to Lone Wolf, go listen to some of our other episodes. Actually, we have one on food.
We have one specifically on food and how we changed our diets and how we eat.
Yep, and the way that we eat. So if you're
It's
curious,
very, very intentional eating.
you could go check it out.
Yes, and ingredient based.
We'll push Morgan's YouTube skills, and maybe I'll put it right here, and you could click on it and go listen.
It'll probably end up somewhere else.
If it's not here,
Yeah.
maybe it's in the show notes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so we'll just give you a brief recap. I really, really care about the way that we eat. I think it was birthed, have you, from a couple different things for us. I think you and I both had our own separate kind of reasons, to getting to where we are now, and then we had like joint family reasons.
Yeah.
But I know for me, we went through 2 years of secondary infertility, and that, I mean, changes the way you view everything, because
Right.
you could think that you're seemingly healthy and eating well and doing all the right things until you go to try to grow your family and you can't.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot, and it's not all negative. I didn't like learn these things and implement them because I felt like it would fix me or something. I learned just how much food can help you and support you and nourish you, and just how important it is. So
Yeah, in every way. Hormonal balances, not just the way you look, but also the way that you
yeah,
feel.
your energy
Yeah,
levels,
and I noticed that firsthand.
mood.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I ended up losing weight after we changed our diet and we stopped doing seed oils and refined sugars and all of that, and predominantly eating protein, animal-based diet. But that was a huge benefit for me. I lost weight. I felt better.
Hmm.
I had more energy. It really was a game changer for us. And I think for us, we wanted to take that with us. That was something we were not willing to let go as we moved into an RV and lived on the road.
Absolutely. Well, and we also had the component too for our children that our oldest struggles with, some mood dysregulation things,
Yeah,
and food is either very supportive and helpful or damn near detrimental for her.
it can ruin everybody's day.
Yeah. So
It's just sugar, and we've noticed
artificial
dyes,
dyes is a
and
huge one.
yeah, it's really, really rough on her.
So we definitely have certain, like food values for the whole family that are really important to us. So like Jordan said, we brought them on the road with us. Like, we
Yeah,
may have gotten rid of a lot of stuff, but our food values is something that is still very much so intact. If not, in my opinion, maybe even deeper.
yeah, and I think it's honestly because we're so busy throughout the day, and we're not like mindlessly spending on additional snacks or like treats. There's not really a lot of treats now. It's, like at home we'd be like, oh, let's go get ice cream,
I
and
was
it's
gonna
right
say,
there.
we're not like big treat people. I have a very strict door when it comes to what I allow into our home or not.
Mm,
But let me tell you, after a long day
ice
of
cream.
Jordan at the office and me taking care of the children and the home, if we want ice cream,
All you had to say was you didn't even say anything. You just look at me, and I'd be like, "Yup, I'll be heading to the store now."
actually, I would say anaconda. That's her secret word,
No,
because we wouldn't want to get ice cream
we can't say it around the
around
children.
Holland.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we would
yeah.
get it at night after we put the kids to bed. So I'd be
Mhm.
like, "So anaconda tonight?"
And it was always a yes. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
I've
always
ever said
no.
I have
You
a
literally
problem.
haven't.
I have a problem.
Yeah, I don't think you've
Yeah.
ever said no. But it was easy because Jordan could just literally go 2 minutes down the street from our
Yeah.
house.
And we were buying the most simple ingredient.
Yeah,
Like,
it has to have like 4 ingredients or
yeah,
less,
not we weren't getting Ben and Jerry's.
But regardless, it's still an insane amount of sugar,
Way too much sugar that you should be consuming right before you go to bed.
Yeah, and then we would sit on the couch and eat it and like watch Netflix. So we're
Right.
changed people now. We don't have the convenience of buying pints of ice cream, and we don't have a Netflix
Well, and
subscription.
we're like honestly so beat by the end of our day, like
Yeah.
doing activities and being outside and setting up the trailer and cooking and all that stuff. We're like,
Yeah.
it doesn't even really cross my mind anymore. I'm like, I'm just ready to get in bed.
You were going to bed with the kids.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, like
exhausted.
8 p.m. every night. Jordan
Yeah.
was out.
Yeah.
And I loved it because that was like my quiet time where I'd sit by a red light and like
Yeah.
work on things. But yeah, so food values are still very much so there and intact. So how do we make that happen? How does that look on the road? It's not always simple. I will say that. I do want to preface with not every single meal is looking like some, Instagram worthy, fancy, whatever. We definitely have days, especially on travel days, where it's like I might just make everybody like a bowl of cereal and I add in like fruit and chia seeds and, and pumpkin seeds, and we try to make it nutritional, but it just is a quick eat and go.
Holland calls that a mama cereal.
Yeah, it's called a mama cereal.
And they are pretty good.
I actually wrote about it on my Substack. I'll put the link right here. No, actually, I probably won't. I don't know how to do that, but I did write a whole thing about how to do the.
Can you do that again? I'll put the link right here.
The link right here. I'll put it right here over Jordan's face. Click right here. Stop. Yeah, we actually have no idea what we're doing, so you won't find the link right there.
Not yet.
But yes, I did write a whole thing about cereal and also just kind of taking the pressure off this idea that every meal has to look a certain way, and instead taking maybe a simple meal and trying to make it the most like nutritionally packed as possible.
Well, not only that, I think it comes down to like where keeping our space organized. Also, we have 2 burners. We have 1 pan that we typically cook out of. That's like a big pan. So it's kind of like it's kind of condensed our cooking to like everything's going in that pan.
Yep.
And
or
so
everything's going on the Blackstone.
The meals have become simplified. Yeah, absolutely. And the Blackstone's great, but that's weather permitting as well because we're cooking outside on the Blackstone. So, if there's snow or rain or something like that,
or it's 7 degrees,
or it's windy, the burner doesn't burn right, and then everything cooks lopsided. There's a lot of different factors. Like it's not always going to be a meal that you've prepped for. So I think there's a lot of like you kind of just got to go with the flow,
which is also very real in like normie life.
Yeah.
Like there's always things that happen in normal life too that like our challenges aren't necessarily unique to a trailer. And I think that's what's cool is that our perspective, you don't have to be living the lifestyle that we are for our perspective to, maybe hold some type of value for you. You always have to like pivot and make the best that you can with what you have.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is we're not sacrificing the quality of food that we're eating. We're sacrificing maybe some of the ways that we prepare it and
source it.
And when we enjoy it. Yeah, exactly.
So sourcing is a challenging one on the road. This is my wheelhouse.
It's your world.
Yes. Shockingly, we actually still shop at Costco.
For certain things.
I'm still honestly amazed that I fit everything in that trailer.
It's tight.
I feel like it's like a Mary Poppins bag. Like you look at it and we have 1 cabinet, but I could somehow shop like Costco and Sprouts and then fit it all in the cabinet somehow. And it's like I am an organized person. I am not just shoving things in there.
The only thing I will say is regardless, because we're packing up and driving to a new location and things shift around. I would say 90% of the time when I open the freezer after we've been driving, I get hit in the foot by about 3 fillets of salmon or a thing of ground beef.
We lost some eggs.
We did lose some eggs, which was a real bummer.
We actually lost.
They were farm fresh from a family member's house. So
yep, that was pretty sad.
Yeah.
No, those were the eggs that I got at the Grand Junction, Colorado farm store from the chickens that Zeppelin made BFFs with.
Still farm fresh.
Yeah.
That was a bummer.
Yeah, that was quite the bummer. We lost a whole jar of coconut oil. I've noticed something that can be challenging is the health food stores, which is where we choose to shop at just because it's easier to navigate. Even then, it's still not perfect. And I could have a whole soapbox just on that itself, like the greenwashing and like health food stores. But I can navigate those ones a little easier, a little quicker because there are certain ingredients that those stores do not use.
Right.
And they have more of those healthier brand items. But what's challenging is not everywhere that we go has a Sprouts or a Whole Foods or a whatever.
Right.
For example, when we were in Panama City, Florida, right? We went into a Publix, which we heard were pretty good. And maybe it was just this location, but it was trash.
Yeah.
It literally took me probably 40 minutes of walking through that grocery store, and we left with like 2 items, and it was like an unflavored yogurt and some dehydrated fruit.
It felt like I was walking through like a Smith's in like the early 2000s.
Yeah,
It was not it. There was
hated
not
it.
everything was there wasn't anything that we would have purchased in there.
Yeah,
I don't even think they had an organic fruit section.
no, they didn't. They
Yeah.
literally didn't. Yeah,
It was crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, and like
Yeah, we
not,
left with 2
not trying to
items.
throw shade on Publix because there are other ones that we've been to here that do.
I actually haven't stepped in a single one.
I have.
Yes.
And they do have decent stuff at the one that I went to. I think it's just honestly they probably
location.
they stock with the stuff that sells, and I think this area is a little bit more healthy.
Yeah,
than that area was.
I mean, that makes sense. Well, and that just goes to say that you have to do a lot of like planning ahead, because if you're just like winging it and you know you're going to be like driving some distance, you're going to be going through a lot of small towns, and then you're like, well, shoot, we don't have groceries or food to eat. Then like you're either buying like crappy food from the grocery store, or you're like eating out, and probably at somewhere you don't want to eat out at.
Yeah, I think honestly like 60 to 70% of our drive time you're spending researching markets and farmers markets and food places that we could potentially eat.
I do.
And then also sourcing food in the area.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah. So this is why I like Costco. There are certain food items that we consume a lot of. I did actually make a whole Costco list on my personal Instagram, which is raised by wolves _ that I think is helpful for anybody, like the moms out there who are trying to like kind of navigate Costco, because there's some awesome picks there, and some not so awesome picks. But we definitely have some staples that I get from there, and I like it because while there is like a lot of it, when you get the healthier food items, you're usually not getting a massive, quantity like you do the lower quality food items. So we have the space to make it work.
Right.
And then I'll do Sprouts and things like that. And to be honest, I've said this before, not to go too far down that rabbit hole, but like I don't necessarily like plan our meals out and then shop for those ingredients. We just have the types of food and ingredients that we eat, and then I make do with what we have.
Right.
And I find that to be so much easier for sourcing and preparing meals and not overbuying.
Right.
Like we make do with what we have, and it's totally worked. It worked when we were still in normie life, and it's worked really great for trailer life.
Yeah, and I think we have delicious food all the time.
So another part of sourcing is we also are big proponents of sourcing local, supporting your local farmer and getting in season food as well. Some of the stuff that we consume is like specialty items such as like raw milk and raw cream, even some of the like really high quality eggs. Those are things that you can't necessarily find in a grocery store. So we make do when we don't have access to it, but as Jordan already mentioned, I do a lot of researching to figure out where can we find those food sources in each like usually bigger city that we go to. And I'll be honest, this is something that I feel really passionate about. I've been making a whole list, and I would love to put some time and energy into it, because living in Vegas, where we came from, you have to live in a city for like a year or two before you know all the ins and outs of where to get real food, which is insane to me. Like it should not be that hard. But it is. It takes time to like get to know your farmers and your local resources, and
or just get to know and get familiar with the inside of the store that you're walking through as well.
Well, I don't just mean the store. I'm talking like your like local like source stuff, finding like your local businesses, the people who like make ferments, your raw honey people, like your raw milk people, your egg people, all that stuff. It's challenging to find them. Because you can't just walk into a grocery store and pull it off a shelf, but they are important to us. It's something that we are not willing to just push to the side while we were, living on the road. Right. So the way that I do that is Google.
Yep.
I do a lot of Googling, a lot of like farm to table. You can find like seed oil restaurants. oftentimes you can find at least one restaurant in the bigger cities that will be seed oil free but also sourced locally.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's cool is if you dig through their website, you can find who they're sourcing from. And that's helpful because then you can be like, oh, they source their sourdough bread from this bakery.
Right.
Cool. And then I could go look into that bakery,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. And then I try to find like bakeries that have like fresh milled flour or places that actually make their food from scratch. Like those are the little details that I'm Googling. Instagram is also really helpful because usually if you can find one account who's doing something that you like, you can then stumble upon, you know, the Instagram rabbit hole of other small businesses who do similar things or things that you may like in the area. Then the other thing is farmers markets. We have hit a farmers market, I think, in every single town that we've gone to.
At least one.
As if the timing lines up, you know, they are usually on like designated days out of the week, and we're not always in that city the whole time. But those are easy to find. You just go to Google and literally type in farmers market near me, and usually there's actually a city website, and it'll have like the dates and times and locations of all the different farmers markets. So that's awesome. Then at the farmers market itself, you can get to know the people. Like I've already made some friends at the ones here in Jacksonville, Florida.
She networks with all of the local farm producers that she likes, and then we end up finding other farmers markets
Yep.
or other places. Or if we don't like a specific product or raw milk, we've had some issues getting raw milk in the area, all of the areas that we've been.
Yeah, and I learned from one of my homies at the farmers market that the raw milk that we could purchase in store, because you can sell in store here in Florida, we didn't like the taste of it. And he said, yeah, it's because all the cows are fed grain and soy. I was like, okay, well, we won't be buying that raw milk again.
Yes. So he gave us some recommendations on A2 better
sources
right.
to get it from. So a lot of networking, like just don't be afraid to go and, you know, say hey to your local people at the farmers market. And then another tip that I have that is I think super awesome is we are members of the Weston A. Price Foundation. If you don't know who they are, go hit them up on Google and do a little exploring. They're also on Instagram, but it's a foundation that's based on like eating real food,
right?
Based on the researches of a dentist.
Yes.
I won't go into details further, but every city has what are called chapter leaders, which are just like volunteers, but they are people who care about food like ourselves, and they take the time and effort to make an entire resource guide of everywhere that you can source good quality food in the area. And I mean, when I did it for Texas, there were 3 different chapter leaders, I think, in that kind of general area that I emailed. These guides are long, like they're super intensive. It has the emails, the phone numbers, the websites, the part of the city, like all the information you could possibly need on it. They are super awesome. So whether you are traveling or you are deciding that this kind of real food approach might be the right fit for your family, I can't recommend doing all of those things. You know, bite off however much you want at a time, but implementing all of those things where you are in your city is a fantastic place to start.
Absolutely. And if you're not familiar with the city, Morgan might be putting something out for you.
Yeah, just slide into the DMs and I'll let you know.
Yeah, she'll give you some reviews.
Yep.
If we've been there.
I was gonna say maybe come back in about a year's time once I've.
Yeah, we've got a lot more traveling to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're kind of limited to the southern part of the U.S.
Yeah.
Now, but
bottom, like up so far. But we're gonna cut back and up, and don't worry, come back. Circle back.
Yes, circle back.
I got you. But those resources I think are super helpful for finding, you know, your locally sourced foods as well.
Yes. So I think what it really comes down to is our main focus is still eating the way that we want to with real food, eating intentionally, and eating food that actually fuels us for the lifestyle that we are living right now, which is very active. And I think for me specifically, it's really important for me to continue eating this way because that's when I feel the best. You know, being more active and surfing and exercise every day and just wanting to be present and active with the girls all the time, it's really, really important for me to continue to focus on those things that made me feel better initially in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, and for me, part of this journey while we're on the road is, us praying that maybe we can conceive another baby and maybe this time naturally. So for myself, like this healthy eating goes in line with all the other health benefits that come with this lifestyle that we've embarked on. And it's important to me that I continue to nourish my body in a way that I could, potentially have another pregnancy and have a healthy one and also be able to show up for our girls and, be, I don't know, just a well nourished mom. I think has positive impacts on the whole family,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, absolutely. And I don't think it's so much as like eating perfectly, because that's not what we're trying to say.
No.
It's eating intentionally
Hmm.
and making the most of the space that we have, and continuing to focus on the ingredients.
And that we don't want to sacrifice like those things just because we have less space, because our cooking methods aren't as easy,
Yeah,
because, grocery stores aren't always, the health food grocery stores aren't always like nearby, because hitting the farmer's market isn't always convenient. You know what I mean? We don't want convenience to rob us of like good nourishment, because
right.
too many things in the modern world are already doing that to us. And the whole point of us doing this kind of unorthodox lifestyle is to push back against that convenience culture and do the things that aren't always easy or convenient, because they are important to us and because they are going to benefit our family.
Yeah, it would be really easy for us to pull into a Chick-fil-A
Yeah.
on occasion.
Or a Taco Bell. There's friggin' Taco Bell and
Uh,
Starbucks
Taco
everywhere.
Bell, Starbucks, McDonald's, a lot of Whataburgers
And
in the
O'Reilly
area.
Auto Parts.
Yeah, but yeah, it would be really easy to do that, and we have intentionally avoided any of that because we don't eat that in our normal life. Like, we
Yeah.
don't eat that way. We don't let our children eat that way, and it would just, I think it would be at our detriment if we
Hmm.
decided to go that route, and we probably wouldn't feel good about it
Yep. So
or feel
we
good.
we intentionally stray from it. And if you are interested in straying from the pack as well, I would love to have you guys join us. So make sure that you hit like, subscribe. Feel free to check us out on Instagram and TikTok as well. We are Lone Wolf Podcast, Lone WOLFE podcast on all of those platforms. And I don't know, if you've been watching the series and it's meant something for you, feel free to like pop in our DMs. We're responsive in there.
Yeah,
There's actually been a couple of you guys who have, and I really enjoy it. It like lets us know that there's people out there who are benefiting from us sharing, our perspective and our experience.
yeah, and I think that a lot of the stuff that we're doing now, even though it does seem foreign to most people, a lot of this stuff can be translated into normal life,
Yep.
and so, the stuff that we're talking about, we were doing prior to this, anyways. Um, so yeah, hit us up.
Thanks for being here.